Okie dokie, we're going to get right into this one. Today we're going to talk about helmet setups. Helmet setups is probably one of the most versatile setups that I don't think that a whole lot of people think about. So they think about, if you got a helmet, bro, you're high speed, low drag or something crazy like that. I don't think necessarily that you're high speed, low drag. I think that if you're in a profession that requires you to do some type of service that uh, is dangerous, or you're just a civilian and you want to protect your family better, I think helmets are a must. I don't think that they're limited to special operations guys. I don't think they're limited to your SWAT guys. I think if you're on patrol and you're not rocking a helmet, I think you're really missing the curve. And we'll kind of get into why I think that. So a little bit about me. I am in law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement for about 8 years. I'm currently assigned to a narcotics division where we serve a lot of warrants. We make a lot of traffic stops. We do a lot of cool stuff. Um, Ultimately, we chase people through the woods. We go into dark houses. We go into situations kind of blind sometimes, or not really blind. I think blind's a bad word. Blind as in you don't know what threat it poses at this place. And with that, hey man, you noggin. It's cool to have a vest on, right? Because it stops bullets in your vital organs. But what about your brain? If you can't stop bullets to your brain, sounds like a bad day. I don't know. I don't know how else to really describe it. Okay, so first and foremost, let's get into the nitty gritty of the details pertaining to my helmet setup. I am not an expert at helmets. I got into the game of getting helmets and outfitting helmets probably about a year ago. So I'm still learning. But I can tell you, I finally found a setup that works pretty good for me. So first thing, let's talk about the helmet itself. So the helmet itself is an Avon Tactical or Avon Protection Group helmet. I'll say it's pretty good. It doesn't blow me away, especially for the amount of money. It's good. Helmets are one of those things, man. I think that unless you're buying some low tier helmet, I don't think that necessarily one can be better than the other. But ultimately, this one has a pretty good padding system in it. Let me turn a little light here. Has a pretty good padding system in it. It's kind of like some memory foam type jazz. I don't know, some kind of stuff. I'd tell you it's comfortable, but it's not like extremely comfortable where you're like, hey, I'm gonna wear this on my head for 12 hours a day. I don't think that's necessarily it. I've went on many chases, many warrants, all that good stuff with the helmet, and I think it hasn't been uncomfortable by no means. The suspension system, it's just like any other helmet, and the suspension system, I think that it's good. Little disclaimer: this helmet was not purchased by me; it is issued to me by my agency. So I think it's good, but I don't think that it's the best money can buy. Of course, you can go buy a Team Wendy helmet or some type of sweet jazz like that, OpsCore or something like that, and you're going to get exactly what you pay for. It's going to be thebomb.com, right? Okay, so the next thing, Mohawk. So my Mohawk system, I think if you're not running a Mohawk, I think you're missing the curve. I have a whole bunch of wires here, and so move my comms out of the way. There we go. Okay, so got my comms wire. Of course, on ops and all that good stuff, I'll pull this out and plug it into my PTT. This is kind of just where I store it away. It's what Mohawks are for, bro. They're for counterweights and they're for storage. Why is this thing not focusing? There we go. I think that it's a must-have. I'm running a battery pack, a Halo battery pack. It does the job. I'm not running a $12,000 set of NVGs, so I think that this is the best way to get power to your night vision, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really. They don't really stay charged very long. That's the best way to describe it. I have a cord that's got multi different heads on it because both I'm running two different types of night vision and thermal, so they require two different charging ports. So I'm running a multi cord here, and also cool. You got a little iPhone or something that way. You got to text somebody or do something cool like that. Okie dokie. As far as comms are concerned, I'm running a set of Comtech 7s. I think they're really cool because if you want to let your ears breathe, you can just kind of do that. You don't have to necessarily rock them on all the time. I think that's one of the best parts, and the fact that the comms are really good. They have some type of fancy jazz in them where if somebody hollers loud, gunshots go off, something like that, they ultimately start cancel. Well, you can hear that person that is engaged in that loud, whatever it is. And if they're wearing a set of Comtech 7s, you'll hear it much clearer over the noise canceling. I think that's really good. I think the one downside to that is the fact that, you know, if you got a warrant or something like that, cops tend to yell. I think that I've went through houses before where it's kind of like, holy crap, man, you were hollering, and I think my grandma heard you through my eardrums, and I think that's the kind of the one downfall of them. But other than that, they're a great set of comms. They're very expensive. Another disclaimer: those were bought by my agency. So, hey, again, free is better than nothing, right? Okay, so I'm running a. This is not just a flashlight. This is an IR light. This is honestly, I don't remember what type of light that is. I think it was an Amazon cheapo because I'm cheap. I think that it does very good for what I need it to do. Some people are like, bro, don't buy Amazon stuff. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Well, dude, I'm broke. I'm a cop, man. So yes, I have an Amazon light. This is a, I think it was Monstrum Tactical mount for it. And then underneath this is the I think it was Thime. What was that supposed to say? Yeah, Thyrum swivel mount, so I can kind of point it to whatever way I need to get it light up to. If I need to broadcast an umbrella of IR for whether it's me or for my buddies or whoever, I can do that. If I need to focus on something, I can just push that thing forward and boom, there you go, it's focused, right? Altogether, I think that was very inexpensive, bro. I think it was like $40 or something like that. So, hey, inexpensive? Now you're speaking my language. Okay, as far as night vision is concerned, I know, right? Everybody I've seen on YouTube's like, bro, if you're not running PVS 31s, you're not doing the damn thing. Yeah, I think that's great, but I'm not really on a PVS 31 budget, you know? Plus, I'm going to be honest with you. In an urban setting, with the job that I do, I am basically, especially when you're serving warrants or whatever the case may be, you need some type of thermal. Thermal, hands down, you can't hide from thermal. You can hide from night vision. Night vision just supplements the thermal to be able to see in the dark. We just did a pretty lengthy manhunt. It was about it was like a 28-hour manhunt. I'm going to tell you that I used my thermal much more than I used my night vision. The night vision is very good because of the rural area we were in. I could see in the dark in these cow pastures and stuff, but the thermal, hands down, you can't hide from it. And when you're running dogs or whatever the case may be, you need to be able to see where those dogs are. You need to be able to see where the humans are that may be hiding in the brushes or something like that, and that's just something that night vision doesn't do. On there, I'm running a SAM Tactical. It's like a 3D printed, I think, mount. It's pretty cool because it's articulating, so I can put them down, and then, you know, whenever I'm talking to my buddies or whatever, or I don't want my night vision and my thermal down, I can just simply swivel them up. I can swivel one down if I'm driving, and of course thermal doesn't go through glass, so there's that. And I can just kind of flip that up. I'm running a Wilcox mount. It is a knockoff Wilcox. because again, I'm cheap. So, I think altogether I am in this setup for like $1,200, and that's like including the light, the Aurora Pro, or the Aurora. I think it's Aurora Pro night vision device. It's a camera. What is very cool about what it does for me is working narcotics. You do a lot of nighttime ops. If you're doing surveillance or something like that, it has the ability to record in the night. So you have a bad guy that you need to get some footage on, it can do that. So it works for me. I don't need PVS 31s because it's analog night vision. Dude, digital night vision has worked just fine for what I need it to do. I'm going to flip it up here so we can see. Okay, you can see I took the eyepieces off of both of them. Reason being, when we're running warrants or we're doing CQB, having the ability to be able to see out of your peripheral. So that up, put this up here. Okay, so drop this bad boy down, and then I can still see out of my peripherals whenever I'm running my nods. It looks like it's heavy. It's not as heavy as you would think it is. I'm gonna take these off now because I look like a goofball on YouTube. It's not as heavy as you would think it is. It's pretty heavy, but I don't know. I've only ran analog night vision one time, and really and truthfully, it's kind of like my Glock is 20 ounces, but my 2011 is 30 ounces. The 10 ounces isn't really going to make a difference. So overall, that's my ballistic setup for warrants or fugitive hunting or something like that. If I am going to be tracking through the woods after a chase team, or I'm going to be doing any other type of Gucci fun ops, I think that this is the helmet I'm going to grab. And I'm going to be honest with you, I like this setup, but it gets very heavy. So I have another setup that I'm going to show y'all. Okay, so my other setup, it is more of this is actually what I wore before I was issued a ballistic helmet. Because I wanted a ballistic helmet, but I didn't have ballistic helmet money. So with that, I ultimately bought myself a bump helmet. This is some type of airsoft bump helmet. It's not anything fancy. You can tell in the inside it's not a Team Wendy. It is terribly uncomfortable. But I will say that it is much lighter, and weight makes things much more comfortable whenever you don't have so much weight on you. So what I will do is I'll grab my Mohawk, I'll rip my Mohawk off my ballistic helmet, I'll slap it onto this one, I'll grab my nods, and I'll put my nods onto here, and now I have a much more light setup that is functional for whatever it may be. You know, maritime stuff. If we're doing a, let's just say it's like a long man hunt, and I have the time to do all this fun jazz and re-rig this helmet up, I can do that because ultimately I'm going to have this thing on for a while. So I have Walker Razors on here. Of course, you're thinking, you're probably like, Brad, why do you have Walker Razors on a helmet? It's not comms. Right, it's not comms, but it is hearing protection. So flashbangs, gunshots, anything that's really loud, I already sleep with a fan on, sleep with a TV on, and stuff like that because my ears ring so bad from shooting over the years. So I really don't want to damage that anymore. And I will tell you, and this is kind of another topic for another video that I'm going to do, but there is comms that you can hook up to Walker Razors now. We are in the 21st century, so Contact 7s is not the only way to go. Those comms plug into my little, I can disconnect the doohickey from my earpiece that I wear on my kit, and I can plug in a 3mm jack into the Walker Razors and get comms over my push-to-talk. So I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, it's one of those things that I have to have the time and the knowledge that we're going to go do that. It's not something I'm going to try to do on the fly. I'm just going to tough through it and wear my heavy helmet. But this is another setup. People don't like to think this. Bump helmets have their place. They do, bro. Sorry. But ultimately, I'm not doing any high jumping out of planes or any high speed, low drag stuff. I'm just a regular cop that likes to do, you know, proactive policing stuff. And I think that ultimately that benefits. So let's get into why I think a ballistic helmet is meant for all law enforcement officers. Okay, so the contrary to most people's belief, you can actually get helmets for a pretty inexpensive setup. I actually through my business, I do helmet setups without the NVGs or the thermal or the IR flashlight. I do those for about $850 out the door. That comes with hearing protection. That comes with a Mohawk and a ballistic helmet. Why do you need a ballistic helmet for everyday policing? Okay, that's a good question, and I think that there's a good answer to that. Things like active shooters, man, they happen every day. And we don't like to think that it's going to happen to us. We don't like to think that it's going to happen to our community, but it does, unfortunately. And with that, you need to have the proper gear to be able to do the mission at hand. And like I said, if you get hit in the noggin, man, you're out the fight most of the time, unless God was on your side and ultimately He allowed you to live. But at the end of the day, you don't want to take that chances. A helmet should be a part of a rifle bailout kit. If you're going to bail out with a rifle, 9 times out of 10, we need to up the ante and put a helmet on. We use helmets for vehicle takedowns. We use them for search warrants. We use them for fugitive warrants. We use them for undercover operations, CI buys, the whole 9 yards. Reason being is a couple years ago, we ultimately lost a partner, and the first thing that the court wanted to say was he didn't look like the police enough. Okay, yeah, I got that, but we want to go back to the drawing board, and we want to be innovative, and we want to give no doubt that, hey, we were definitely looking like the police that day whenever we were doing a UC buy. Of course, we're not going in there buying the dope with the helmet on, looking all Gucci. If you're on the cover team, I mean, or you're doing a vehicle takedown or something in law enforcement, and uniform guys, that goes to if you're going to do a felony traffic stop, or you're going to do a high-risk takedown on a fugitive suspect or something like that, dude, throw your helmet on because ultimately you don't want to get shot in the head and not have that protection. On a civilian side, I think that night vision is, helmets are just one of those cool things to own. If you've never played with one, spend the money and get one. I think that they have the benefits for you, especially NVGs, dude, just because who doesn't want to go play in their backyard with their underwear on, looking through NVGs and thermals, right? Looking at the bunnies hopping across the yard. So ultimately, that's my 2 cents. That's kind of where I'm at with it. If you like my helmet setup, hey man, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And if you want to buy any of our stuff, hey, go over to hdtactical.la.com. You can pretty much buy anything on our website, and or you can contact us on Instagram or Facebook, and we can get you a setup or a build too. Other than that, y'all continue to stay safe and be careful out there. If you ever need something, reach out to me. Later.